Hi, Mark White, um, president and founder of Idaho Estate Planning. Yes, we do estate planning and that type of stuff. Um, I've told you before that this year we have an overall theme, and the theme is no place like home. And we firmly support our clients that want to do that. And what does that mean, no place like home? That means most of them would like to stay in their home. They don't want to necessarily move into, say, assisted living or skilled nursing. Now, apart from the fact that sometimes we don't have a lot of choice, are there things that we can do to make sure that our staying home is successful? And by that, I mean, are we safe? Do we have a quality of life that we've worked for? Um, are are we comfortable in our home? Is this a place that we can age and be okay? So that's a long way of saying successful. A lot of folks think that they can't get that if they're not in their own home. A suggestion, we'll talk about this more later, but a suggestion is home can be just about where you would like it to be. So if you're in the family home and it's a large place and you're living there all by yourself, it could be that a smaller place, not independent or not assisted living or skilled nursing or memory care, but maybe just a smaller place would be the right fit for you. Or maybe independent living where somebody's signed on to do your meals. That could be a right fit for you. So we're going to talk about those things. But today, what I really want to emphasize is pulling together your team, let's call it a personal board of advisors, if you will, who can help you get ready. And so let's talk about a couple of concepts as we do that, as we sit here and think, well, this is what I'd like to do. The first concept I want to mention is it generally doesn't happen by default. And I know a lot of people that are going, well, I don't want to think about this. I don't want to worry about that. It's going to work out. You know what? Sometimes it does, but not all that often. Someone steps in and rescues them. Something happens. Unfortunately, for a number of folks, what rescued them from a situation that was not good for them is passing away. We don't want to do that. What we want to do is build up a team that can help us accomplish what it is that we want to accomplish. So the next thing then is you need to take control of this. So this goes back to the concept I talk about a lot, and that is planning by design and planning by default. Let me talk to you about the plan by default. This is what happens to a lot of people if they don't have a plan. They live in their own home. They're there by themselves. They've lost a spouse. Family is a long ways away, a different part of the country, or miles and miles from them. And so they live in their home. Their home is an older home. It's not particularly safe. There's a lot of things around there that can literally trip you up. And if you do have a fall, there's no way then for you to recover from that. And then folks take on that burden, I'll call it a burden, of buying their own meals, buy the food, go to the supermarket, buy it, haul it out to the car, haul it into the house, put it away, make the meal, do something with the leftovers, clean up the dishes, and then start over again in a few hours or just the next day. And so the first thing then here is to get clear on what it is that you want to accomplish. What is it that you want to accomplish? Do you want to be in a high quality situation, not by yourself, not lonely, not safe, or do you want to be at home, but you want to be safe and you want to be comfortable? I would like to think that you want to be home safe and comfortable. And kids, if you're listening to this, I know that's what you want. Been there, I've done that. So we want you to be safe and comfortable. So by default, you're there by yourself. You have a fall. You have some sort of a health event. No one there to pick you up, take you to the hospital. Somebody finds you, does get you to the hospital. And if it's a fall and you've broken a bone, say a hip, fairly common, then that starts a path that now you don't have a lot of control over. You'll be to the hospital, typically go into a rehab situation, and then you could be in long-term care for a while, and then in assisted living with people helping you. If you have some money, you'll spend it. When it's gone, then you're going to be looking for some governmental benefits, such as Medicaid. That's the default plan. And we came up with some of this to help out people that don't have their own plan. And so let's talk about your own plan. First of all, to come up with a board of advisors, you need to be clear on that vision. So we're talking about vision. Got to be clear. What is it that you want to have happen? Do you have to stay in the house that you're in? Okay, if you do, but then we need to take some steps. Over the course of the year, we'll talk about that a little bit. If it's okay to move to a place that's a little smaller and maybe it's a little safer, great. What's your vision? How do you see this happening? Do you see one of the kids or grandkids moving in and taking care of you? That happens. I've seen people do that very successfully. Not a lot, but some. Are you going to move in with your son and his family? I've seen that work. I've seen it, not work. And so whatever your vision is, that's the first thing. So then the second thing is getting the people that align with your vision and can help you implement the vision, right? It's one thing to dream about it. It's another thing then to take steps, the plan by design, take the steps that get you into that plan and implement that plan. So who are those people? Well, we're going to call it board of advisors today. You could call it a rope team if you want. If you've ever been rope climbing, if you've ever, been up on the hill and you're doing some hiking and it was a little bit difficult or a little bit more technical, there's a rope team that makes sure that you're safe, right? They have your back. You have somebody that's connected to you, and they're connected to the mountain. They, put in those little things and pound them into the rocks and hook their rope through that, and then they hook that rope through them and to you, so that if something happened, you're not going to fall off the mountain. You might fall a little bit, but you're still going to be safe. You've got somebody in front of you, you've got somebody behind you. They know the path. That's what we call a rope team. These people are aligned. They know exactly what you want, and they know how to help you get there. So this would be the model for your board of advisors, is to find the people that understand where you want to go or not go, and know how to get you there. All right, so that's the first thing. So what are some of the people then? Well, we've talked about experts so far, right? You've got financial experts. If you want to be able to stay at home, wherever that home is, and you want to be on your own, got to be able to financially do that. You've got to make sure that your finances are in a situation that you're taking care of. Whether you have the assets to pay for this, whether you've got insurance that'll help pay for this, whether you've got a larger house and I only need somebody to help me sell that, and then I have some cash and a smaller house, What do I do with the cash? These are all things that a financial expert can help you come up with a plan. Now, when you look at this from a standpoint of, well, what if I want just some long-term care insurance? Great. Insurance is a great package, or part of your package. Well, what kind of insurance do you have? Do you have some life insurance already? Do you need long-term care? What does it cost? What does it take to get it? All of that. You need an expert that can help you work through that. Okay. As I said that, I realized, boy, that sounds like a lot of work. And the answer is, yeah, it is. There's some work here. This is the plan by design. So you need to be involved. You need to get informed. That's what these experts are for. All right. The second thing is peers, buddies, if you will. My mother-in-law, it was the book club, right? They did club, what it was called after, I don't know, 50, 60 years. They had club. They got together. I don't know if they got together every week, or they did for a while. Then as they all got older, maybe it wasn't every week. They went to each other's house, and there was a book that they were reading, and sometimes there wasn't a book. They just got together and visited, and that was club. Had lunch. Do you have a group of peers? You know, this can be a great support if you aren't able to make it or you don't show up. Is somebody watching that and going, oh, you know, where's Marion? I thought Marion was supposed to be here. And then somebody else can say, oh no, she had kids in town, whatever. With my mom, and the kids or the grandkids are in town, it gives her a chance to brag, you know. And I think they trade the bragging. Oh yeah, my son from Boise, he was here, and that type of thing. Although I think she brags on the grandkids and the great grandkids more than she brags on her kids. But what do you have for that peer group? Because that can be great support, by the way. And they have some experiences in common, right? You've raised families. This thing happened and you can ask about that, you know, or this thing happened and you can ask about that. You lose a spouse, you've got some, you know, some support. Maybe they've been there and had the same experience. Great. So who are your peers? Have you got some folks that can be on your board of advisors or your rope team? A mentor. This might be somebody that's a little older, who's, you know, been there, done that, knows the ropes, can give you some ideas on some things that you might be, you know, looking out for, because they've already been there, right? They understand. They can look back at their experience and go, you know, I would have done it a little bit differently. Or, you know, here's something I did that it was a great advice. Somebody told me to do this and it worked out really well. Well, that can be a mentor who can keep an eye on you, help you to see some of the bumps and the, you know, and the rocks in the road and the roots that stick up that people trip over, and give you an idea then about the things you can do to avoid that. So that could be a mentor. Your mentor could also be one of the experts that you have in your group. You know, for example, it could be somebody on the medical side, somebody that has the same, you know, situation that you've got going on. If you have maybe asthma as a challenge, maybe you find somebody that's been there, done that, or somebody that's doing it. Then you can compare notes and go, oh yeah, no. One of the peers that so many people come in with is their, you know, brother-in-law, who is not an attorney, but plays one at the family gatherings, right? They come in and go, well, you know, if you do this, blah, 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 blah. And if you put this together, blah, 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 blah. If you want to qualify for Medicaid, blah, 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 blah. Since I'm an attorney, I hear that stuff quite a bit when people come in. Oh, my brother-in-law told me that this is the thing that we need to do. Okay, I'm picking on brothers-in-law, and it's not necessarily that, but it could be my cousin's, daughter's boyfriend. His dad is an attorney. And here's what okay. So instead of having that person is in your peer group, go back to your expert group and make sure that you have, a legal expert in there with your financial and your health and safety. Make sure you've got somebody in that little network that can help you with those things. Don't rely just on your peer group to do that. A mentor can be someone that can connect you with those people and say, I've been down that road. Dr. So-and-so, he's the guy to talk to. Or, Dr. So-and-so, she is an expert in the field. Here's what she told me, and that worked out really well. Okay, so your peer network, your peer group can be, a sounding board, or just some support, just somebody to go, yeah, that stuff happens. We're here for you. Well, and speaking of that, then how about a support group? Who is your support group? Family can be, I know, isn't always. I've had that situation where my client had me contact their son or daughter to explain a few things because the son or daughter doesn't think that their mom or their dad is doing it right. And then there is a fallout. Most of the time, it's the other way. It's, family's here. What can we do to help mom? What can we do to help dad? Well, this is an important part of your team, whether it's your rope team or your board of advisors. It's really important to have some support. It could be as simple as, I just need somebody to talk to me on the phone. I'm having a bad day. It could be that simple. Hugely important, but fairly simple. To, I had some branches blow down in the tree last night, and I need to do something. And you have a support group that can say, oh, I know a guy. Or they come over with their saw and they clean it up for you. So a support group can be just tremendously huge in my neighborhood. So I'm recording this, and it snowed for the second day in a row. We had a little bit of snow before that. And I've got a neighbor who bought one of those, he calls it a man shovel, I think. Big shovel. It goes all the way across the sidewalk, and he just pushes it, and it clears everything off like a snowplow. The first thing in the morning, he gets up, it's his exercise. He's pushing that around, and he can do the whole neighborhood, the whole cul-de-sac, before anybody can get their own driveway done. Well, that's nice support to have. So these are things to pay attention to. No. Let me see if I can say this right. Again, some of this happens by default, right? You find out your neighbor's like this, and your neighbor likes to do this kind of stuff. That's great. Now, the part that is by design. Well, thank you. Say thank you. Send them a fruitcake. Okay, because maybe they need something to keep the door from swinging shut or something. I happen to like fruitcake. If you bake them some cookies. Do something nice for those people in your life. Now, you don't have to do it every time, and I know they're doing it not because they expect you to do something for them, but always gratitude is so huge here. Thank you for those people that step in and help you. Do that, even if it's your own kids, and especially grandkids. Let them know. Those kids are getting pulled in many directions. Any chance they get to come and help out, we should acknowledge that and say thank you. So, thank you. All right, now I'm going to talk about maybe the hardest part of your board of advisors. Okay. Let me talk about the easiest part first. Okay, sorry, I'm kind of chicken that way. Let me talk about the easy, then I'll talk about the hard. The easy is, keep in mind, you're the CEO. You're the chief executive officer. You're in charge. That's the nice part. Everything I've said so far is not about you giving up control. You might have to recognize you don't know everything. You might have to recognize that somebody significantly younger than you is more of an expert in certain areas than you are, but we're not giving up control. You're still in charge. You still make decisions about where you're going to live, what it is you want to accomplish. Those are all things that you're still in charge. So you're the CEO. Okay. I set that up so we can talk about the next thing. The next thing I think that is hard for people is accountability, right? I talked about before that this is something that's by design. If you want to be in your home, if you don't want to get stuck with the plan by default or the government plan or the one where at some point you have no control because you didn't get ready for it, then you got to be accountable. You've got to get that alignment. You got to get the vision. You got to get it aligned, right? And then you've got to implement. You've got to take the steps. You don't have to do everything all at once. Baby steps actually really works here, but there's some things that you need to be aware of and knock off on an ongoing basis. And some people need a little help to make sure that those things get done. I know lots of people. My mother is a checklist person. At one point, she had checklists of the checklists that she needed to write. My paralegal team leader, check, 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 check. Those people, awesome. They might not need, the accountability. Many others do. If you're dealing with maybe some health issues, maybe you're dealing with chronic pain, it can be easy to not push on this, and that's when you're going to get in trouble. So let's call them a coach on your board of advisors or on your rope team, whatever it is that you want to call it. Let's have a coach. The coach can come in and not do it for you, and perhaps not even tell you how to do it, but check in with you, make sure that you have that vision, that you have that alignment, that you've got the right people on your board, and then say, okay, what's next? What's the next thing? What do we need to check on now? Did you check with your financial advisor? How are we doing there? The coach doesn't even need to know what you did. You can share that, right? Coach could do that. Who's your coach? Now, this is difficult. This one is a little bit more involved. We've been a coach for a number of people, more by default than by design, but they came in and said, here's what I'd like to do. And of course, I did what sons do. I started asking questions and, well, what's the next thing? And what's the next thing? But there are we check in with us. We have names of folks who can help you through this, who can help coach you through the things that you know you need to do and to get in place. And then again, check it off, check it off, check it off, check it off, so that you're in the best position that you can be to make sure that if you want to live in the house you're living in, or in your own place, whatever that looks like, that you've taken the appropriate steps to make that happen. You checked off your experts. You got the financial, you medical, you've got care, you've got all of that put together, and the coach then just brings it all together. And accountability, follow up. What do you need to do next? Did you get this done? I didn't get that done. So can you get it done this week? I know I'm horrible. I would go, no, not because I couldn't do it that week, but somebody asked. So it'll have to be the week after. Please be better than I am at that. What's the next thing? That's the coach. The coach can bring this together and move it forward. And I suppose you've got the right support group. You can go complain to them about the coach. The right coach isn't going to worry too much if you complain. They want results. They want performance. They're not necessarily your buddy. They want it to get done right. They want to put you in the best situation possible to make sure that no place like home is successful for you. Are you safe? Are you happy? These are things that, that I think is always a part of the vision. Please let it be part of your vision. I have stories about some folks that weren't concerned about being safe or having, a high quality of life in their own home. Maybe I'll share some of those as we go along. All right, that's all I got for today. This is your Senior Matters Radio podcast. And we here at Idaho Estate Planning, we're here to share information, help you get set up. If you need some people on your board and you're not sure who, we could reach out. We have a lot of folks that we've worked with over the years. So if you saw our e-blast, there's some links on there for some more information. Link on there to get my book, not a bad read, well, at least not a hard read, and links on there to get more information about us. Have a great day, be safe, be well, and be happy.